So we'll start. Yesterday we talked about how to use Passport.js to encrypt your login and register process. And today we'll talk about how to log out. Like yesterday when we register and log in, we had a command in our server side. Yeah, I'm recording it right now. In the user service here. So when we log in and when we using the local strategy when we register and when we use local strategy to log in, we use request.login to ask the Passport.js to store this current user's information, and we started in the shared service. And today we are going to do a logout, which is going to ask the Passport to log out our current user, and also we're going to clear up what we stored in the shared service to let both client and server know we are currently logged out of this current user, and it then allows you to navigate the profile again before you log in. All right, so let's see if our project is still working. I just opened the node server and ng-serve, so which means if it's still working, I can open that at localhost 4200. Yep, it's working, and let's try to test the register. Let's I think I created a student yesterday. Student. Yeah, it's working right now, and you can see the user ID is disappeared from the URL path here. Others cannot see that. Cannot see the current user's ID. And today's job, we're going to implement the logout using the Passport, and we're going to do the verified user login using password. Yep, those are going to be the two steps we're going to do today. So for the logout, the only logout button we have is in the profile. Here we have a logout button, and today we're going to make that functional using the Passport.js. So again, we're going to do it on both client side and server side. So in the profile component TS, make it bigger, we need to implement an event handler, is a function bound to the logout button in the profile view using the logout client service in the user service to issue a logout request to the server. On successfully logout, set the current user to null. Use the code below as an example. So here we're going to create a logout function in our profile component, which is going to link to our logout function in our user client service. And in this function, we're going to send a request to the server, ask the server to log out. And also we're going to, as I said, we're going to reset the current user in the shared service into a null.
Is this still under 8?
Yeah, it's still under 8. So let's go to the profile component. It's in the source app components and user profile component TS here. So yeah, we don't have a logout button or logout function here right now, and our logout is just simply route link us to the login page, which is not correct. It's not completely log out the current user. So we're going to delete this route link, and instead of directly route link us to the login page, we're going to call a function here, which is going going to be called logout. So let's create this function here first. Logout, and so the brackets. The function body is already provided in our assignment. It's this one. Is this all we have? Give me a second. Let me take a look. Profile.ts. Let me make sure I got it correct. Yeah, I think that's everything we need. Let's copy that. Let's put that here. My copy not working again. Let me try it again. If it's not working, I have to refresh the page. This works. Let's put it here. So logout is sending a request and waiting for a response. And if we received any information, I'm going to change this to routing. Yeah, hold on. Let me fix the organization of it. Alright, so let me open my another project to make sure I have everything correct. I feel I'm missing something here, but I'm not sure. Profile. Yeah, that's everything we need here. So we're going to sending a request to the server. Actually, this function is not sending a request. It's just calling another logout function in the user service, client user service, and the client user service is going to send out a request and give back a response. So let's go back to the client user service to make a logout function. And firstly, in the profile here, in the profile.html, we're going to bind that function to this logout button. Here is the logout button, and we're going to have a click here. If we click this button, we're going to call the logout. Okay. And let's go to the user service, user client service. So for the user service client, we're going to have a logout button, logout function here, which is going to be used when we try to log out. Let's add it in the class logout. I think I already have the code provided here. Yeah, so we're going to implement logout user client service to use passport, and here is the function code. Just need to copy that. So we are doing the similar thing. We are going to set the options with credentials equal to true, and this one going to return this http.post. We're going to sending a post to the server and the pipe, and within the pipe we're going to have a map sending a request to the server. Let me fix the syntax of it. To return. Okay, so we are sending a request to the server, and with a URL with a path equal to /API logout, and we're expecting to getting a response from the server, and which going to directly give it. We're gonna directly give this response to the profile component, right? So this is the only thing logout does here. What?
Yeah, I know we returned that JSON. So
like in the client side, we'll always just return. Yeah, this is not gonna be the JSON format because we're not expecting to receive a JSON format because like we're not getting any data from the server. All we need is just some message from the server saying, okay, you're already logged out, and we're going to send this message to the client, to the component, tell the component the process is finished. I just feel like we're missing something here. Let me take a look. Yeah, we're missing one line here. Like after we receive a response, we also want to set the user information in the shared service. We want to set that to null, right? We haven't saved that to null, so this is what we're going to do here. Did we import the shared service here? Yeah, we have shared service here, and we have that in the constructor, so we can use that in the logout. Where is the logout? It's here. So after we receive the response, we're going to say this .share service. The user is null. We update it to the null, like which gonna erase the current user's information we saved in the share service. And the next step, we're going back to the server side. We're going to have our app.post /API/logout to waiting for the request from the client. Let's add that to our server side. Let's close this client side things, and the server side code is in the server folder, server service, and the user service server here. Here we're going to put that here app post /API logout. When the server receives this request, we're going to run the logout function, which is going to be really simple here. Only 2 lines. The first line, request the logout. This is a predefined function in the Passport.js, which is going to log out the current user in the Passport.js and gonna erase the user information in the cookie. And the second line here is sending a 200 to the client side, tell like it's status code for the success, and the client knows that this process is done, it's finished and successfully. That's the only thing the logout does. So let's try if that's working.
That's what I was wondering when you get the response back. Is that's the 200 that it's getting back?
Yeah, that's just a message you were sending to the client saying the process is done and it's done successfully. So let's restart the server. Node server. My computer is extremely slow today for some reason. Okay, it's running, and let's test it. It's here. Let's let's come back first. Refresh it. Oh, one more thing here. After we log out, we also want to navigate back to the login page. I think our function is not doing that right now. Let's go back to the source. Let's go back to the service, not service. Yeah, service. User service here. No, should be in the component. User component profile component here. Let's see if we now navigate. Oh yeah, we have a router navigate here. The router doesn't exist on type profile component. Have we import router here? No. Let's import the router. And put that into the constructor. Private router. Okay. So we have a router here, and we're going to navigate us back to the login page. Let's see if they're working right now. Okay, that's my login page. It's logging as student. Login, and we're in the user right now. And if I change this back to the home page, it's going back to the login. What I'm doing, student login page, and if I click the logout, it's logging me out. And if I try to go to, it will still navigate me to the user page, but it's not going to have any data here. Yeah, but that's actually what you need to do for the logout. Cannot show much here, but right now it's actually logged you out. A student here, email student@gmail.com. Alice. Yep, log out, log in. Student login. Yeah, so everything is still working, and I think we're done for the log out part. And next step is we're going to verify the user login using the passport, which means we're going to implement a logged in function. This one we will keep asking. Like every time when we navigate to a page, we're going to asking, is the user login? Like when we go to profile, we're going to ask the server, is this user already logged in? And we'll go to this user's website, we're going to ask again, is this user logged in? And then we'll go to the page, you're going to ask is this user logged in? And after you log in for 30 minutes, we're going to kick you out. We're going to erase the current data, saying, okay, if you want to keep going, you have to log in again. So we're going to navigate to the user. So every time when we're doing any action in our website, we are going to ask, is this user logged in? If in any case the server tells us this user is no longer logged in, we are going to send this user back to the login page. Please log in again before you keep working on your stuff. So here are going to be two functions we're going to use to do the login. The first one, logged in, is going to be in the server side. We're going to have a apt-get. We're going to get this path API/logged-in, and every time when we see this request, we're going to run the function logged in here. So let's copy that. In the service, not in the service, in the server side. So it's going to be in the server service, user service, server.js. So it's server side service file. We're going to have an apt-get /API/logged-in. And every time when we see this request, we're going to call the logged-in function. And the code for login function is right here. Let me change a little bit. So if request is authenticated, it's a predefined function, and every time when the when you call this function, it can try to read your user information in the cookie. If there is no user information, because the cookie only lasts for 30 minutes. If there's no user information, that knows this user is not logged in. And if there is any information, and it knows this user is logged in. So if this request is authenticated, it's going to do that thing, so checking if you have any information in the cookie. If there is, then we know that this user is logged in. So we're going to send in a request the user to the client, and else we're just going to send a 0. you don't have to worry about this 0 because the Passport.js will handle this. Like when they say 0 here, it knows this user there is no any information provided. User is not logged in. And when they receive a user information in here, it knows this user is logged in. All right, you don't have to worry about that. It's handled by the Passport. And next thing is right now we are done with the client side, server side, and we're going to use that function in the client side. We're going to send in a request every time when the user tries to do every action, going to any page. We're going to send a request to the server, ask is this user logged in? Is this user logged in? Again. So let's say what we need to do. Implement a client function in user service.client.ts to use a logged in web service created in above step. The client-side logged in function will make use of a shared service, which will store the current logged in user and the return and verify by the Passport in the server-side logged in function. Here we have the function. Here it's logged in. Let's copy that. I have to do Ctrl+C here. Let's put that into our code. So let's go back to the client side. It's in the source, app service, user service, the client is here. Let's put that logged in function here. Alright. And I think I need to add in a pipe here. Still using the old Angular 4. In Angular 6 we already put the math function inside the pipe. Let's fix the style of it. So in here we're sending like usually we're sending we are setting the option install with credentials equal to true, which is going to encryptize our communication with the server. And here when we received we just return this to API/login, and this options to the server. We're sending this request to the server. And when we receive a response, from the server, we're going to check if this user is equal to 0. If not, this the service the user equal to user. That means this user is logged in, and I'm going to put that user in the shared service, and also returns true. And else, that means the information we get from the server is a 0. If that is a 0, we just directly navigate the user to the login page. Please log in before you do the any actions around it. Okay. So if the user logged in, we are going to put the user into shared service. If the user is not logged in, we'll just navigate the user to the login page. Please log in. And we need to import the router here in this file. We don't have a router here. Let's import the router from Angular router, I believe. And let's put the router into the constructor. Private router, type of router. Okay, so here, if user not equal to 0, we going to update the user in the shared service and return true. And if this user is a 0, which means we cannot find any user in the cookie in the request. And then we're going to just navigate the user to the login page and return a false. All right. So we created this function in the user service in the client side, and which component going to use this function? Where should we put this function? Like let's make it really working every time when the user trying to go to a page, and we can check if the user log in or not. So that's going to be the next step. So we will use the Angler's built-in function. It's called a navigation guards to protect the routes. And we're going to create a can activate guard decides if a router can be activated or not. This condition to activate a route like a profile if the user is logged in, and we're going to send the user to the profile. Otherwise, send it back to the login page. So in order to do that, we need to create a new service. The service, we can call it AusGuard service. So we can use the code below to create that service. Let's firstly create a file called ausguard.service.ts. Let's copy this name. So in the service, we're going to create a new service, which is going to call this login function. In the service, new file. Let me try to copy this file name here. It's ausguard.service.ts. Hit enter. Okay, we'll create this service file. And the code I already provide here is really short and easy. Let's put it into a file. So we imported the injectable can activate and the router. Also, we import the user service to this file. And in the file, we only have one function. It's called can activate. Every time when we call this function, we're going to return this user service, the login function. The login function, remember, is going to return either a true or false. Right? Like it's a function we just created, the logged in function. It's right here. If we found this user returns true, it also returns false. So this function here, can activate, when it gets a true, that means yes, you can go to that page. When it returns a false, no, you cannot go to that page. So this is really simple, just one-step checking, and we're going to use that function in our routing, in the app routing TS. We're going to use this can active function for the files which needed to be checked. So we're going to import this service. First, we need to put that into the app module, right? We'll create the service. We need to put that into the app module. And we also need to put that in our provider array here as one of our provider. And let's go to the app routing. Let's import it again. Let's copy this again. We can import this into the app routing. Let's put it here. No, let's actually put this below. It's okay. Just put it here. So we import the AusGuard from the service, AusGuard.service, and then we can use that function. So see, the only thing we need to do is after the component, we're gonna add a can activate. We're going to add this one to the page that we want to check if the user logged in. So in here we add the can activate to the profile page, which means every time when we go to the profile, we want to check if we have the user logged in. Profile, which is here. Let's add this one here. Oops. Let's copy that. So every time when we go to the profile component, we are checking if the user logged in. We don't have to do this for the register and login page because the user doesn't really need to log in before they go to login page. And same thing for the register page.
What about the subsequent ones, like widget edit?
Yeah, that's the thing we're going to do. Same. We're going to add this function to all the pages after that. Like before you go to this page, you will have to make sure you logged in. Otherwise, we're not going to allow you to do that. We're gonna add this to all the pages, other than login and register. You cannot do anything before you log in. Right? So you only add this one to the page. You don't want the user to go before they log in. Let's try if that works. I think that's it, right? Yeah, that's it. Let's restart the server. Something wrong here. Fail to compile. It's not a module. What? Compile successfully. I just didn't save the file, I guess. Let's close this thing, make sure everything is saved. And restart the server. It's right here. Clear the server. Running on 3100. Alright, so let's try that. Logging as student. Oh, login not working anymore. F12. The server responded with the status of 404. API.logged in. If I'm missing anything, where's my server? It's right here. API logged in. Yeah, here should be capitalized. Logged in, matched with what we have in the client side. I believe this is what we have in the client side. Let's take a look. Service, user service. Logged in here. Yeah, it's capitalized I. Let's restart the server. Let's clear this page, reload it. Let's try to log in again. Student, login. Oops, still not working. Logged in 404 not found. API logged in, and we have logged in here. Did I save the file? Oh, I didn't save the file, I guess. Let's restart the server again. Alright. Let's try it again. Student. Still not working. That's weird. API logged in. It's a post, and let's see what we have there. It's a get. No, it shouldn't be a get. It should be a post. Let's see if I have this correct. Let me check what I did before. I believe that's every function related to login has to be a post. Yeah, it's a post. It's a post. Let's clear this. No server again. Let's come back. Let's try it again. Login. It works. And it's working just like normal. I can go to the website. User website cannot match any routes. I think I messed it up in the routing. Oh yeah, like the user, it's need a ID here, user/ID website. I think I messed it up in the profile somehow. Let's see. In the components, user profile here. Right. So, oops. UID is a string, and I think I never updated this UID here. Let's update the UID. So this UID is equal to this user ID. Update this UID for it. Otherwise, it's going to be empty. And when we try to navigate to the website page, it's going to use this UID here. Let's try it again. It works. And then we can end in pages. 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, submit. Yeah, everything is working. Go to the pages. I can add in a widget here. A widget list here. Yeah, it's working. This is the website. And it's going back. Yeah, we need to change this going back. In the website list, the going back button. It's not going to have the UID here anymore. We don't really need that. It knows which user I'm logging in right now, because we have that in the shared service. Let's try to go back. I'm still trying to get my ID. Are you serious? Oh, this is a brand, not this one. I changed the wrong one. This is going back here. Okay. Let's try it again. Go back. It works. Go in. Go back. Yeah. So if we log out, and then if I just directly change the URL, I want to go to the, let's go to register page right now. I want to go to the profile page. I just change it to user. It shouldn't go navigate me to. Yes, just bring me to the login page. Please log in. You can just adding a lot here, saying please log in before and before trying to go to that page. And so here we can log in as student again. And if we're trying to go to the website, let's copy this URL here, right? So if I logged out and I try to go to this URL again, it's not gonna work. It's gonna bring us back to the login page, because we're not logged in. I'm not going to bring you to there. You have to log in first. Otherwise, all those pages are blocked for you. And this is also what we did for this website, for the MSIMO website. If I log out, there's a many button I cannot using. I cannot log it out. Like the wiki and assignment, they're not working. They're not allowed me to go there. I have to log in before I do that. I can still go to the about page, the curriculum page, the feedback page, but I cannot go to this page. It's going to ask me to log in. All right. So this is how you're going to set permissions for your pages. All you need to do is to add in a logged in function, and then we're going to create a new service called Authenticate. This one, Asgard here, and it's going to have a cat activity function, and we're going to put that function in our app routing. Every time when we go to that page, we're going to try to call the can active function in the Asgard. It's going to help you to check, is this user allowed to go there? Is this user allowed to go there? I'm going to check this again and again. Okay? So that's it for today. And tomorrow we're going to talk more about how to make your website secure. Yeah, let me upload the code and upload the video.
Yeah, change that in documentation for books too.
Yeah, I changed the things. Don't worry about this. So let's resend user resend status because we are sending a status. Yeah, that makes sense. So we can change the resend into resend status, which is in the user service server here. We're sending a 200. It's basically sending a status going to be REST send status. It's the same thing. Send is just kind of a smart choice. You can send everything, but it's just slower than just directly tell him what I want to send. Okay, let me send the code to the GitHub. Git add dot git commit. Log in and log out. Git push. Okay, and we are going to stop the recording right now.